Yeah, I really like these plows a lot. I didn't think I would like it at first, but it's really, really good with all of the uneven ground. Each one of these segments will lift and raise. You have a different piece here for the blade. When these springs pop up, the blade will actually push back. Like if you hit something that's maybe like a piece of pavement sticking out, or you have a curb or lip to a sewer drain, these will actually kick back, which we found out if you have this pushed down all the way, if you have the blade tensioned all the way, you can actually do damage to these things. We had a sewer drain kind of bend one of those rings or one of those bars underneath. But yeah, that was just part of the learning curve. We now know that it's just, you get it pretty much to where you're at. It depends on what kind of a ground you're at. You can work with your angles and your levels. But yeah, once you find your sweet spots, depending on your different properties, different kind of terrain you're working with, you can get away with tension on the blade if you know a lot. It's nice and flat. You can do some good scraping with it. But you just got to be mindful with how much tension you got down and what kind of terrain you're working with. So you got to be mindful with your surroundings, with your area, and just make sure you know the lot you're in. You know where you have curbs sticking up. It's always smart to go around preseason, check all your areas, and every year we find stuff that you miss, you never knew about. So there's always opportunity for disaster. What's really cool about these blades, you do have you kind of have an indicator with flat. We're leaning forward a little bit right here, but you can get away with that with these blades because of the way that they have all of these different moving parts. You have your side skirt that can move up, looks like a few inches. So even if I was to rock it back, I could rock it back a little bit less than flat, give it a more of an aggressive angle, and it'll still be catching everything because all of these moving parts will move and work with you.
And one of the things is that when we got these plows, we did not get any information. We couldn't find anything on the website about these plows or the manufacturer's website. We searched high and low, and even the people that sold these plows didn't provide to us any information on how to use them. Here in a minute, we'll show you how the linkage works and how these blades work independently. We learned a lot, and it cost our company, a considerable amount of money to make some repairs on these plows that we had not intended. So what we learned to do was when we set these plows on the ground, this linkage moves. You can see this linkage will move up and down, 6-8 inches possibly. And that allows for these plows to absorb the shock and take that recoil. When you set this blade all the way on the ground, it doesn't allow for this mechanism to operate properly, these mechanisms to operate properly. And we bent one of these and damaged the shoe. Okay, so watch this mechanism. See how there's an indicator on the back? So he sets it all the way down and he lifts up a little bit. So when we start to plow, we'll set it all the way down on the ground and then we'll pull it up just a little bit. That allows this plow to operate properly. So Alex is going to try and demonstrate here where the ground is uneven and how these sections will move independently. Like I said, we're trying to give you the education that we never received. We wound up tearing up one of these plows a little bit,
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think this was the one that we bent the bar that's behind it, and these blades will kick back. So that whole piece, it's crazy how modular these things are. They have so many different working parts, which, you know, if I was to buy a plow, I'd be a little scared of. But, you know, these things actually are pretty kick-ass. They do they move a lot of material, a lot of snow we've been pushing this season. And it's really amazing. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun with these plows this season too. It's just been a learning curve. I've never used anything like this before in my life, but it's really cool with all the segments. They move kind of with how the ground is, how everything works. It helps us out with time a lot because we have a lot of uneven places you couldn't do with a box blade or a bucket, because those are just straight flat metal blades. You have no movement or anything. So if you're going on uneven ground, this is definitely the way to go.